Hey friends, don't look at my hair. Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead, and I was out in the garden, and I found, it's only May, but I found some stuff to fatten up our supper tonight. Tonight is going to be a $2.79 supper. Now the reason I say it's $2.79 is because when I purchased the sausages, the hamburger, and the steaks, I added it all together, how much I spent, and I divided it by how many portions I got. So this is $2.79. This is the leftover rice from our beef broccoli, okay? This costs nothing because I already included the price for this in the last video. Now here's where it gets interesting. These are the tops off of green walking onions. These are those volunteer garlics. And you know what? I'm just going to use the green tops because these feel a little woody. But I'm going to use the green tops for these and maybe some of the bottom. Free. Now here is what my mother, my aunts, or my grandmother would use as a salad green. This, I'm trying to get a piece here for you to see how it actually looks. This is lamb's quarter, or lamb's ears, some people call it, but it's lamb's quarter. And this is a totally edible weed. Now I just kind of saw all this stuff out there and went, you know what? Let's do this. Alrighty, now I've got my strainer here because all of this is obviously going to be washed. Let's just cut the dirty parts off. And this piece of brown paper is that paper bag I opened for you in the what else my grandmother would say. And this is going into the bottom of a bed. So we'll just make sure that these are all good. And then I'm just going to start pulling these leaves off. Now, like I said, you could have these as a salad green if you don't have any lettuce right now. There's a good shot of here, because they're already starting to wilt. Here's a good shot of what lamb's quarter looks like. Okay? I'm just going to take the leafy parts because these are going to be the last things to go in the pan because they're better for you if they are raw. But I mean, Howie's just going to think it's, you know, bits of lettuce or something, right? Which is just fine. Howie trusts what I feed him. So just because it's still spring and nothing's really coming up in the garden yet, doesn't mean you can't find stuff. Now, listen, this is from my yard, okay? This is from my yard. My yard doesn't get chemicals sprayed on it, okay? So I don't even worry about that. Be careful if you were getting them out of the ditch or something. Let's get these last few leaves in here. Or, you know, those walking onions that are growing behind the bench? I didn't get them all. So when I pulled them and tossed them at the back of the garden. So, again, I just, whoa, these are growing voluntarily. So we're just going to add. It's going to add green. It's going to add flavor. And it's going to add nutrition. These are the closest thing to a wild onion I have because they just go crazy. Green tops of walking onions. All right. Let's see what's the usable part. Now these aren't really going to have a really strong garlic. Oh well, they don't really have a strong garlic smell to them. I'm going to take these other leaves. We'll just clean these up. This is part I want to use. I don't want to use that. Now let's get these cut up. And if I really, really wanted to go whole hog on the harvest, I would probably go out and get some young dandelion greens. But I'm not in the mood to overtax Howie's taste buds with something this different. I also have a half a can of mushrooms that I opened for our pizza yesterday. Now look at the amount of greenery we have in here for flavor, nutrition, and color. So I'm gonna wash these and then we'll come back when it's time to cook supper. Here's our frying pan and here's the cutting board. Now, I'm gonna start the frying pan heating. Okay, so here's our 279 sausages. And I'm pretty sure those are mild Italian. Now, if you want to put a price on these mushrooms, we opened them to put them on pizza, and we didn't use them all. Now, we could say that's a leftover and count it as nothing, but if you want a half a can of mushrooms, it's like 60 cents. And here is our forage from the garden. And our free leftover rice, and it's free because I counted it in the cost of the beef broccoli over rice. So first things first, start with the most raw ingredient. And I tried to keep these slightly frozen because that makes them easier to slice. But it looks like they're not really cooperating. So we're just going to do the best we can. If they end up in little sausage balls, they end up in little sausage balls. But that's okay. We're just chunking them up. Now I'm kind of counting on these being, I picked the reddest ones. I'm kind of counting on these being kind of spicy because that's what's going to flavor the rice, isn't it? Is the juice from the sausages. I'm going to throw our mushrooms in there. Oh yeah, those are Italian sausages for sure. I can smell them now. As the sausage is cooked, we will throw in our greens because we don't want to overcook them. All right, our sausage is just about there. And then we put in the next ingredient, which is our garlic greens, our walking onion greens, and our lamb's quarter. I only found one little patch of it, but by God, lamb's quarter is good. Eat as a salad or as a cooked green. But make sure you get it when it's young, like you know, you don't want it. It gets bitter as it gets older. Okay, now goes our free rice, and we say it's free because we counted it in. Oh, I missed a couple of mushrooms there. Because we counted it in with the last video. Look. Now we're basically just heating the rice through. This is sausage, forage, leftover rice supper. Make sure you get a piece of meat in.
I am.
Gracie! Oh, sorry, what? Oh, thanks, honey. I'm going to get mine, and I'm going to sit down for a minute. This is the Mrs. Wolfe, yeah, I know I'm sweating, excuse me. This is the Mrs. Wolfe from our half-acre homestead saying, counting the mushrooms, that meal was $3.39. But you don't really count the mushrooms because they were leftovers from another meal. So $2.79, you be the judge. Either way, that's how you get greens before your garden's ready. Take care, God bless.